Yo, what is up, guys? Undead Nerd here, and I don't have time to make this a full-on video, so I'm gonna do this in podcast format, which I don't really like making full-on videos when it comes to news videos because, you know, it takes energy out of my time I could be making off of other videos like essays and stuff. But I just want to talk about this news because one of the main targets I want to do on this channel, or already am doing, are comic books and superhero movies. So yeah, so basically we got a leak from Daniel RPK, which, I don't know, is he Jonah? Is he the Jonah and the whale of the Marvel community now? I know, it's very weird, but yeah, so we got a recent report from Daniel RPK because Bob Iger said that Disney canceled some movies, which I'm kind of surprised they haven't released a list of movies that they canceled yet, which I'm pretty sure that we will, like, by the time this year ends, but yeah. So, according to Daniel RPK, some of these movies that Disney canceled on the Marvel side are Eternals 2, Captain Marvel 2, Captain Marvel 3, and Ant-Man 4. So, first off, I want to talk about Eternals 2, the first Eternals movie was really bad, and I know a lot of people are going to accuse me of reading Wikipedia articles because they're all a bunch of trolls and I don't really care about that, but I am a big fan of the Eternals comics. Yeah, I know, I wouldn't know about them if it weren't for the movie being announced back in 2019, but the comics are legitimately really good. There's like a huge story and a huge lore and a huge mythology. I wouldn't say the characters are that deep and complex like other superhero teams, but it's just fun, alright? It's more focused on story and lore than characters in those comics. Like, I'd say, like, the movie pretty much raped the source material to the ground. Like, you know, it's not just with all the gender and the race swaps, but, you know, they threw out what Olympia really was, and, they turned the deviants from Monsters, Inc.-like characters into, like, cable dogs, as Rags describes them, so yeah. It's pretty sad to see such an obscure brand get raped to the ground, because no one really cares about that kind of brand, so yeah. So yeah, and not to mention, Eternals wasn't really that good of a movie. It suffered from too many characters, a bit of identity politics, a bit of slow pacing here and there, and it's also way too long. And yeah, Kevin Feige really hyped himself up thinking that that was going to be the movie that's going to get Marvel Best Picture nominations at the Oscars. And, you know, I don't really care if they have these characters' story continue because, like, you know, you killed off Icarus, which, you know, we all know that the white male was gonna be the bad guy. You basically got rid of, like, 20% of your roster from the first movie, and you replaced them all with, that One Direction freak as, Star Fox, aka Thanos' brother. I made a joke saying, I'd rather have a race or a gender swap Star Fox than Harry Styles out of all people as Star Fox, but hey, you know, I'm not gonna hold those days too much against him because, hey, the song as it was pretty good, so yeah. Anyway, now on to Captain Marvel 3. This makes a lot of sense. The Marvels bombed. Captain Marvel isn't loved, especially by women, which you could tell with the first Captain Marvel movie way back in 2019. They were trying to do a Black Panther sort of marketing where they're trying to say, hey, look, this movie stars this or that group of people, so we're gonna base the marketing around that. And, you know, I've seen a lot of movies, especially Marvel and DC, do that, and the only time it's ever really worked was Black Panther. I don't know how the hey that didn't work again, or I didn't know how the hey it worked with Black Panther, but hey, that wasn't intentional, sorry. But yeah, you know, I didn't really like the Marvels that much. I mean, it was okay, it had good action, it had a little bit of funny jokes, like, you know, that's the praises some people give throughout the movie. But, yeah, Marvel failed in the long run. Women don't like Captain Marvel. Not my sister, not other women in my personal life, so yeah. I'd say the only shame is, look, I didn't really like Miss Marvel in the Marvels. I never seen the Miss Marvel show yet. I never liked her in the comics, but I do really like Iman Vellani as a person. Like, I would love to see a Miss Marvel Season 2 for the sake of her, and not for the sake of the audience. You know, I'd love to see Miss Marvel return just for her because, you know, she's a charming human being. I kind of relate to her on a personal level because she's a nerd, just like I am, you know. Oh, so yeah. So yeah, good riddance, Captain Marvel 3. And now we have Ant-Man 4. Now, I really liked the first Ant-Man movie. Ant-Man and the Wasp was okay. Ant-Man Quantumania was not as bad as everyone says it was. I really like Jonathan Majors as Kang. In fact, I'm really excited to see Kang's story unfold, which I wouldn't say they're scrapping King, but it looks like they're sidelining him, which I think is stupid. That shows you they don't have a fucking plan. They're really bad when it comes to when their actors screw something up. But yeah. But overall, I think it's a good idea to scrap Ant-Man 4 because not a lot of people really care about Ant-Man. And even I don't when it comes to the comics because, like, you know, the only time I ever got interested in Ant-Man, I mean, yeah, it's a guy that shrinks, but it's like when Scott Lang was part of the Fantastic Four in the 90s comics, as they call the Death of Reed Richards storyline. Because that literally was the story, as the rest of the four trying to cope with Reed Richards' death, and, like, you know, there's Elijah the Skrull, and then there's Ant-Man, Scott Lang, you know, as allies of the team throughout the series. And also the Avengers. I hear there's a really interesting story about the Giant Man plot in, like, one of the earlier Avengers comics, so I might check that out, you know. And besides Thor, I don't really know what else you could do with Ant-Man, so I'd say just make him a side character throughout the rest of the MCU. But we're not done with this video quite yet. There are speculation that they have canceled Armor Wars, which, to that I'd say good riddance, because, look, I'm kind of bummed that it's not happening, because, like, I feel like churning Armor Wars into a War Machine story instead of a Tony Stark story is a good idea in context of the MCU's timeline, because, like, you know, Tony Stark is dead, War Machine was his closest friend, and, like, you know, oh, he has to look after the company, and I feel like a story like that would be a perfect farewell to War Machine, you know, stuff like that. And plus, fun fact, they were originally going to do a War Machine movie in the early days of the MCU. I'm not sure why they didn't go ahead with that, but yeah. I did hear rumors about the movie that they were going to bring back Justin Hammer, which I think they will do around the line. And I also heard rumors that Ultron was going to return the movie, which I know Ultron is a fan favorite, but I'm like, I feel like his story was already good in Age of Ultron, you know? Oh, I thought Age of Ultron was pretty good, you know? But yeah, as for other Marvel projects that we're going to be talking about, at least the ones that haven't been scrapped, well, first off, I want to talk about Ironheart real quick, because there's people speculating that they're going to give Ironheart the Batgirl treatment, which, yeah, to that I'd say do it, because no one cares about Ironheart. Like, especially when I saw Black Panther Wakanda Forever in theaters. Like me and my relatives who were visiting me at the time, you know, when we left the theater, we were mostly talking about Shuri, we were talking about Namor, and, you know, we barely even talked about Riri Williams besides how much she sucked. Riri. Apparently that's like a racist name or something, and the writers were just stupid. Like, the creator of her from 2016 was stupid. But, yeah, so yeah, you know, because Ironheart is so meh and kind of controversial, I'd say they probably will give it the Batgirl treatment. I know the tax write-off thing is very controversial, especially going on right now with, like, Coyote versus Acme, which I will say I'm kind of feeling pity for that movie. I hope it releases, because, like the plot of the movie kind of sounds interesting, because it's a standalone movie with Wile E. Coyote, and you know, it's about the Acme Corporation with the TNT and stuff like that. But there's a reason why they gave a tax write-off to Batgirl, because I'm not saying no one was interested in it. Well, it's mostly because they were doing a reshaping at the time, and, you know, no one was really interested in Batgirl. And from what I've heard, you know, about the scrapped movie plot, like, it didn't sound like it was gonna be good. Like, especially since they were gonna turn Firefly into, like, some misunderstood anti-hero, and yeah, just everything else just didn't sound that appealing to me. I don't remember everything, but yeah. By the way, speaking of Batgirl, the rumors about the test screenings for The Flash being really, really good were actually true. Like, people did thought that was a really good movie, and then, you know, they did all the reshoots because of Ezra Miller. I'm kind of surprised that was true. Like, I just thought that came out because, you know, Ezra Miller did his thing at the time, you know, stuff like that. So it could get people to see the movie, but then it became the ultimate bomb because, you know, he did all of his stupid stuff, you know, and we all got blacklisted for society for not using his correct Ezra Miller is a he, and you all know it. Anyway, I'll stop. So, yeah, so as for the Marvel project sequels that didn't get scrapped, Thor 5 is still happening, which I'm excited for that because, I mean, Thor Love and Thunder was not the best movie. I mean, I remember enjoying it when I saw it in the theater because I had very low expectations, especially since most of the marketing around that movie was that it was hella gay, which it is really gay, but, I mean, it's not gonna get better because they've retconned Hercules in the comics as gay, and, you know, I mean, hey, it kind of makes sense because Hercules is really gay looking, like he's really buff, but yeah. But yeah, I'm excited to see Hercules, because I like Hercules in the comics, you know, stuff like that, and I think that'll be a perfect match for Thor. I mean, I'd rather have them do a standalone movie with Hercules. I mean, Hercules is one of those characters in Marvel Comics that I think works better as a side character. Like, if you give him the Hulk treatment, I don't think you'll be missing too much, but hey. Shang-Chi 2 is still happening. I loved the first Shang-Chi movie. And, of course, it is confirmed, it's been rumored for years that it was going to involve time travel, and it looks like Iron Fist is going to be in the movie. Now, I don't remember if it's going to be like a former Iron Fist, or it's going to be Danny Rand from the Netflix show. I have not watched Netflix's Iron Fist yet. I've heard it's really bad, but I'm still going to watch it. I hope I'm in the minority who likes it, because I love Iron Fist in the comics, but I mean, to be fair, Daredevil and Punisher, which are the two shows that I watched so far, are really good, but, yeah. So yeah, I'd say Shang-Chi has a lot of good publicity for it. Thor 5 probably has good publicity because Taika Waititi's not coming back. And I think they said that Moon Knight 2 Season 2 is still happening, but again, they just don't care about the original source material. They don't care about Moon Knight being a Daredevil-like superhero. They'd rather have him as like a supernatural superhero because, you know, they're stupid. They don't read the comics. It's been proven in videos, but yeah. I also want to talk about the firing of the X-Men 97 show creator before I end this podcast off on a high note. So yeah, he got fired, and I have two theories as to why he got fired. So there's rumors that he got fired because of his OnlyFans, which I don't think you necessarily get fired for OnlyFans because fucking Markiplier, aka Mr. Fuck Pro-Life People, because he's an asshole. There's a better way you could have communicated that, but hey. Anyway, I'll stop getting into politics. But, yeah, you know, Markiplier has an OnlyFans now, advertised it for a bunch of stupid little kids to see because that's pretty much most of his followers. Or, I don't know, maybe I'm stuck in the 2010s. But yeah, you know, maybe, like, there's a lot of controversy going on with X-Men 97 right now, like, about Morph and about Rogue, which, you know, maybe that kind of controversy is why he's been fired, but, yeah, and I feel like, again, I feel like when it comes to X-Men, there's more you could do than just the prejudice allegory. There's more you could do than just turning everyone gay or desexualized and turning all the men buff because, you know, whatever agendas you believe in nowadays. Like, there's more stories of the X-Men that you could do than just prejudice sucks, in quotes the Nostalgia Critic. And, you know, and plus, he was also a former writer of Blade, which we all know what the original draft of that movie was. It was going to be a feminist nightmare, the original draft of Blade. And so, you know, he got fired because apparently his draft wasn't good. And I have a theory he was the one who wrote that one specifically. So, yeah. Again, you know, I think that's his name, Coleman Domingo. No. That's the guy who's looking to be replaced as Kang. But, you know what? You know, again, if the X-Men 97 creator was just competent, he was a competent human being who cared about the source material more than his identity, I don't care if he's a gay black man. If he makes a big deal out of it, that's where it crosses the line. All right? Sorry if I sound like that, if I sounded like that, you know, cross the Rhine. But anyway, yeah, but again, don't make it a big deal. What's the point? But, yeah, so again, I feel like Marvel and Disney are going in a good direction. All we need is Nelson Peltz and Jay Rasulo to win, and yeah, I'll see you guys later. Bye.